Hi, I'm Andrew from Creative Guitar. It's October 27th, 2009. Today on the video blog, we're going to go through some questions that came in through my contact inquiry off my website. First question is from Dave. Dave wrote in, he said, I've been having a little bit of trouble improvising with augmented chords and understanding how they fit into keys. He goes over, the spelling that he gave here of augmented chord, that's actually incorrect. I wanted to clear this up first. He wasn't sure, I guess, so he wrote E, G sharp, or A flat, and then C. The proper spelling of the E augmented chord would be E, G sharp, B sharp, not C. I know C and B sharp are enharmonic notes at the same note, in pitch, or, but basically you have to follow third intervals when you build chords. So that's why the C would really, the way you wrote it as a C, it should be written as B sharp. What key should this be in? It doesn't seem to fit in any kind of key. Well, basically, Dave, it's not in any key. It's from a scale. Augmented is from, at least the triad of augmented triad is actually from a scale called whole tone. So to be able to play over top of any augmented chord, whether it's like, whether you had like an A augmented triad or you had like A7 sharp 5 chord, you could either use the A augmented arpeggio or you could just go and use the whole tone scale off that root of A. And that's how it operates. So maybe sometimes it can be kind of a mystery with those chords. But let's go to the next question. It comes to us from Ben. He's from Paris, France, and he wrote in here, I'm having trouble with Legato Technique. I often touch the strings that I shouldn't when I do pull-offs. I can't seem to do them on a clean channel, he writes. I think my left-hand position isn't very good. Can you give me some tips on legato? So yeah, basically with Legato Technique, what you want to be able to do, I think, is a good practice tool, is either write a lick that's sort of a 3-note per string idea, or just take a couple of patterns of scales and lay them out as 3 notes per string. On the double whole step reaches, go with index, middle, and baby finger, and really work on a good accuracy for a real solid slam down of each finger. Go with the tip of the finger. Try and keep the knuckle bent that's behind the fingernail. That should really help you quite a bit, but you do have to work on them a lot. And I would also, as I'm always, saying, work with a metronome. I think it's really important that you work with a metronome on everything like that, all those technical devices. Let's move to the next question. It's from Richard Ramos, and he's writing in. He says, Hi, Andrew. What are some good books or online sources I could use to learn finger picking? Also, what guitar tunings are popular with the folk style of guitar playing? Well, tunings, I wouldn't get too worried about, tunings if you're not that great at your finger picking, but you could do tunings like there's Dad Gad, sort of G open or D open tuning, does that stuff. You could go to A open tuning, but really what I would suggest starting with in the terms of finger picking would be ideas that would be based around classical guitar training. I had an opportunity quite a long time ago, maybe about 15 years ago, to meet Don Ross, who's a phenomenal fingerstylist. He's on the same label as Andy McKee, he's kind of like an internet or a YouTube star, but millions of views on these guys' videos. But the thing is the training that you get from classical guitar is really some of the best technically out there. So I would probably say find some good like 8-10 book methods of classical guitar. In Canada here we have the Toronto Royal Conservatory method. If you can get your hands on some of those books, just start at grade 1 and work your way all the way through to grade 10 or whatever level it goes up to. But the classical training would be certainly the way to go. The next email comes from Camille, and he says he's in Ontario, Canada, and he's been playing for 2 years, but he's heard of a picking method called Sarod picking. Okay, I believe this is the same picking technique that we used to call many years ago as circular picking. You can play very fast with it. To me, I'm not a big fan of it personally. I don't really use it. It's sort of like tremolo picking almost. But it's sort of, to me, it's one of those flashy attention-getting techniques. I've always kind of thought it sounds really sort of sloppy. But anyway, you sort of move your fingers and your wrist very rapidly, and you get to me, it's sort of a good flashy attention-getting technique thing. You can practice them with maybe pentatonics or something and get a really cool sound. Let's zip over to the next question here. This is from, I can't pronounce the name, he's from Pakistan, Shariar. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. I'm just trying to decipher some bad English here. I'm trying to make my way through. I've heard that the player who's doing barre chords needs to work on changing Oh, this is getting lost in the translation here. But I have no clue about them. It sounds like it sounds like he's basically confused about bar chords and how to practice them. If you don't know your 6-string root bar chord for major and minor, start with that. Just get a very straight bar with index finger. Use the tips of the fingers, both ring and baby fingers, and middle if you're using a major. And then the other one is 5th string root bar chord. For major, it can be really difficult. Just get the bass note, root note off of the 5th string, and then lay very flat with your ring finger. Bar chords are very odd from a teacher's perspective. I find sometimes people, within one sitting of showing someone, the shape for the fingering, they can do it. Other people, it can take them literally weeks. So just be patient. It's, some people, you might be finding it's just difficult. I'm going to go through one more question here. It's from Mike. It says here, I've been starting to learn the modes, and I was wondering how I can connect them for a solo. Do I just follow the chord progressions and for each chord change in the middle of the chord or note? If you're just getting into modes, I wouldn't try to change modes in a progression if it's something like a jazz chord progression or something. Start very straightforward. Maybe start with Dorian. It's a very easy mode to phrase with initially. Maybe do like a chord change of perhaps something like A minor chord to a D major chord, or even a D dominant 7th chord would be nice. And just start off blending out a pentatonic. Most people who are getting into modes already have a fairly good handle on their pentatonics. Try and start blending in and point towards the unique note of the mode. If you were doing Dorian, perhaps it would be a major 6. If I could plug my book, I've got a book out there called Using the Major Scale Modes. Maybe if you can afford it, pick that up. It's relatively inexpensive. It's $12.99 off my website. Anyway, I got to wrap up right now, but thanks for joining me today. I'll try and shoot up another one of these blog question and answer videos later in the week. Until then, take care. We'll see you next time.